Just be smart with the money, protect the players, take care of the older players who are going some ailments like that. Y'all making so much money. There should be no reason people and invest in the CTE.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today on this Top Shelf Tuesday edition, our favorite team leader, Mike King. Mike, what's going on today, sir?
Not too much. Looking forward to talking NFL.
All right. Captain for Life is here. Will Cotton looking sharp in this OCP gear. How are you, sir?
Great. I can wear this to church. I can wear this to the gym. I can wear this to a wedding. This is quality. Let's go.
I love it. And academic and athletic consultant for the CKSA project, and he is George Awkward. George, how are you, sir?
I'm just trying to figure out how I can get a T-shirt, dog. That's all. That's where I am right now. That's
where you do enough podcasts. You got it. You do enough, and you get one. That's how it works.
All right. In segment one today, we're going to talk about money because the NFL is making it hand over foot, and we're going to talk about how people are spending it. Two, we're going to do some roster construction. And three, or actually two, we're going to see if we care about things or not. And in segment three, we're going to do some roster construction or some shape, fashion, or form. But first, to quote the legendary $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, money, 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 money. They have raised the cap. The NFL announced that the salary cap for the 2024 season will be a record of $255.4 million per team, and that is a 13.6% increase over last year. Just don't get silly like the NBA did. The increase could have a significant impact on free agents. That money is real, fellas. You've got the notes. Will, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on the salary cap going up that much?
I mean, they are making so much money. I mean, they're going crazy. I mean, they are stepping out into whatever they do wins. I mean, they step out into Amazon Prime, they win. They step out into Peacock, they win. They step out, and they don't care. And people pay. And people do. I paid. I'll keep it real with you. They were like, look, this game is on Peacock. I'm like, how much is Peacock? They said, like, what, $5 a month. I said, look, I can afford $5 a month. Let me go ahead and buy that joint up, no problem. We're addicted to football. And it's now getting out to other people, like bringing in Taylor Swift. I mean, there were so many people I met this year who got into football just because she was into football. And it's not because of her. They're like, oh, I was watching this Pittsburgh game, man. They're pretty good. Or, man, I got into the Ravens. They were pretty good. Man, just be smart with the money, protect the players, take care of the older players who are going some ailments like that. Y'all making so much money. There should be no reason people and invest in the CTE, see what's going on, research, really put that money into investment because, if we take a note of history, the gladiators were done by the time Caesar became the emperor. So nothing lasts forever. Nothing. So put your money in now and invest in your product on the right way.
All right, Mike, what do you think, man? We've got big time money now, 13% increase. What are you thinking?
I hope the running backs don't think they're getting any of it. They're not. I mean, this just means it's going to, quarterbacks are going to make 60, wide receivers are going to make 40, and left tackle, you'll pay that person. Everyone else can make the same, maybe a little bit more. For me, what if I'm a team, cap goes up, I have to use my franchise tag because they're still getting paid on last year's money. So for the Giants, I know I'm hoping we get our safety signed, not Saquon, because even with that, he's not worth the running back position is not worth 13 million or whatever it would be. So I'm tagging someone. There's going to be a lot of Kirk Cousins getting that tag, getting that money. It's just not going to be as good as it was when Kirk Cousins was getting tagged. But no, it's good. They're making money, so the player should get it. But it's just going to go to the positions we know it's going to go to. Everyone else will get a tiny bump, and the big premium positions look at the big bump.
All right, George, you see what the money is? Everybody sees what the money is. What are your thoughts?
Mike, you don't have to worry. Saquon will not be in New York next year.
Dallas.
I mean, they might be smartest loan sharks there were in the water right now, because NFL did what everybody else was wanted to do. Our love for the consumption of football is just ridiculous, and they're taking full advantage of it. And I just see it continuing. You're gonna, I probably, when they get around the TV deals again next time, they're going right to streaming services.
Pay-per-view, Super Bowl.
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
soon.
I mean, yeah.
Pay-per-view Super Bowl coming.
Yep.
Pay-per-view Super Bowl coming for sure.
It'll be, I mean, and it's not going to be the fight pay-per-view where somebody's got to pay like $80 or something. It'll be something they'll consider something they'll call manageable, so everybody can watch it. But yeah, they're the smartest business going right now, man. They're making money hand over fist. Some of it's going to trickle down to the players, but we already know this is the NFL. This is not Major League Baseball with their union. and it's not NBA with the union, where they've basically just made the players as almost partners. That's not going to happen. This is a boys club that only a certain few people allowed in, and we're going to make sure we keep the money and keep everybody else in line while we're doing it. So that's where it's going to go.
It's such an exclusive club. You get kicked out with a $6 billion leave.
Yep.
Minimum. That's crazy to me.
Yep.
You get kicked out, get out, don't come back. Take your check.
Yep. And not only that, they told him to shut up on his way out, because he was like, I'm going to tell everybody, no, you're not. You're just going to leave. That's all you're going to do.
You're just going to leave. Well, George, all right, I'm going to stay with you. Now that we've got some money, if you're Tampa Bay, are you paying Baker?
Oh.
You got money?
I know I got money. I guess it's going to be a forced issue, because it's going to be, where else are we going to go? I mean, are you going to make a play for Kirk Cousins? I mean, their options are limited. And they've already been down the road with Baker. They're more than likely they're going to pay Baker and hopefully get lucky in the draft. That's what their options are, which is bad, because it's going to keep them at status quo. Good enough to make the playoffs. We might win a game, but we're not getting over the hump. So,
all right, Mike, I'm gonna give you Cincinnati. You got T. Higgins to sign. You got a bunch of guys coming up. You got money. What are you doing if you're Cincinnati, Mike?
So, I mean, the got money thing for all these teams, they don't, though, because everything just got the same amount more expensive across the board. It's like the government can't just print out an extra $1 million a person, then we're all rich. Then you're going to McDonald's for your $700 meal. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. But they have money for the franchise tag. And that's the big thing. Franchise tag stays cheap. So they'll get him for $21 million. And then next year, potentially he could be doing $35, $40 million a year. They don't have that kind of money, but they can get him for this next year, which, Burrow comes back healthy. They can try for a run. T. Higgins is someone I want, so I'm very disappointed. This extra money hurts more than helps for me.
All right, so now, Will, I'm going to give you the cutting of players. Now that you have money, teams are getting rid of folks. We're going to start with Miami, Will. They got rid of Xavier Howard, and he was their longest tenure player, and he was a $25.9 million cap hit. So the Dolphins saved $18.5 million in addition to their salary cap relief with the increased cap. What do you think about the Dolphins cutting now?
They're doing that like being a business. We grow up as these love stories about, and these players who play forever and all this stuff, and he played for 10 years and he never changed with another team. And if they do this for a couple of years, he still wants to play, but it's a business, and it goes into analytics, and it looks at his production, and it looks at his cost. And if they don't work for them, then he's gone. Not that. And it changes, because it's not because they're bad players. It just doesn't work for that team's salary cap. And, Xavier Howard, he's going to get picked up by somebody. Same with the linebacker. He's going to pick the two. It's just a numbers game, and they're trimming the fat right now. It's early. These are early contracts. I'm sure those players even knew that. I'm sure those players coming into the next month were like, oh yeah, we ain't coming back next year, and
be like Russell Wilson and sell his house.
Yeah, exactly. They know. They knew they weren't coming back. So it's business.
All right, George, we're going to close segment 1 with you. Pittsburgh Steelers had underwhelming season, and they are actually getting rid of their starting center, who is a mere 28 years old. What do you think about them getting rid of Mason Cole?
Hey man, lifespan in the league is a lot shorter than other sports. So Pittsburgh, they know something. When whether it's his health wise or what's going on, but Will said something interesting. Analytics plays so much of a role in here, and you can look at the running back position. If I can get the same production out of another player for cheaper price, I'm going to do it, or multiple players, I'm going to do it, and it makes financial sense. So it's a business decision. Teams have stopped leading or running their teams by their heart and started running it by the bottom line. The numbers, the bottom line of the numbers. So it's just a process. So, and he'll get a chance somewhere else. Maybe not at the same money, but he'll get a chance somewhere else.
All right. So fans, when we get back, we're going to kind of calm everybody down in terms of all of these different things going on with a new segment called Do We Really Care? We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, we're going to pilot something called Do We Care? And we're going to start off with the Raiders. Antonio Pierce recently got some people mad talking about the air quote Jordan rules for Patrick Mahomes. And in a nutshell, he said, we're going to hit Patrick Mahomes often, and that's going to hurt him as a football player. And why is this news? So you already know I don't care, but it's not about me. Mike King, do you care about what Antonio Pierce said about Patrick Mahomes?
No. As long as you don't say we're going to try and hurt him, you should be trying to hit him. He's the other team's quarterback. That's literally the goal.
All right, Will Cotton, you're a player. You hear this in the locker room. Do you care that your coach said that? Because you played for a coach that said some things in the newspaper that you had to back up.
Oh, it's all good, but you don't spit in the wind, you don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't give Mahomes any any meat reason. Now, don't get it personal for him. I think that's the wrong bear they're poking, and leave it alone. Just give him his props and keep moving.
All right, George, when you come for the king, you better not miss. Do you care that Antonio Pierce said that?
Yes, I'm the NFL, and I damn sure care, because if you hurt my franchise, we're going to have a problem. That's going to be, see, it's going to be one of the most scrutinized games by officials for the entire year because NFL ain't going to let their prime real estate get hurt or injured in any way. But Antonio Pierce trying to bring some life back to his team, but he put a spotlight on himself. So,
all right. So let's honestly talk about this. One, shut up, Antonio Pierce. Okay, be quiet. The majority of NFL plays, as Mike said, ends with a collision. Okay, the majority of all plays ends with some type of violent action. But one of the things that I did as a coach was plant things out in the media, not trying to give you locker room material. By you actually saying this, as George said, those 2 games you play in conference is going to be more magnified than it would be if you just didn't say anything. Hey, we're going to put pressure on them. We're going to put our hands in the face. We're going to try to, collapse the pocket. That's NFL speak. But when you say you have rules, now you get into bounty gate. And I have no interest in that meeting. So, yes, all jokes aside, don't say stuff like that. Okay. Second thing, do we care? Chicago Bears. Quarterback Justin Fields said his decision to unfollow the Chicago Bears on Instagram is nothing more than him needing a break from social media. Mike King, you are a teacher. You deal with social media every day and phones in the classroom. Do you care that Justin Fields is no longer following the Chicago Bears?
I hate nonsense like this because people are just following and it's even worse in college with following who the recruits are following. It's icky. Let him live his life, then watch him play football. He stopped following one of his teammates, but who cares? It just doesn't bother me. Let him have his break. And his team is thinking of taking another quarterback. So if he wants to unfollow them as that, no one's yelling at the Bears. How come you have a quarterback in your team? Why are you thinking of taking a new quarterback? No one's giving them any crap. So let him just do whatever he wants to do. And if you like him, keep him. If you don't, trade him. And this is nothing.
Will, do we care?
Yeah, we care. We care. As someone who grew up with social media, it can get a little bit much, for him to kind of unfollow people. I mean, it gets a lot, like especially emotionally sometimes, things like that. And I keep it real. Follow my job. They got an Instagram account. I don't follow them Bamas. You know what I'm saying? They don't follow me. That's all they got to go. I mean, but it's a new era, man. And I think these things, they obviously feel something going on. He feels a certain way, which he should, but it's the name of the game these days. So it's just happens.
Okay, George, your counselor. If this came across your desk, do you care?
I'd laugh my behind off. It's stupid. No, I don't care. Well, I mean, he's an athlete, and it's part of the business, and he's getting in his feelings right now. I don't care. Get in your feelings. I'm unlike all these other people. I just want you to show up on Sunday, play, and do your job. I'm worried about all that. So no, I don't care.
Okay. Now, honestly, today's generation of athletes, this is all they have grown up on. So Justin Fields is going on vacation, according to the different news reports, and he doesn't want to be bombarded with negative images. That's a real thing. So I am actually applauding Justin Fields for understanding that this may cause him pause. So I don't want to have anything to do with that when I'm on vacation. When I went to Jamaica, shout out to the Negril Resort, and they took care of us. I tuned out. I didn't know what the heck was going on. And when I did find out what was going on, I didn't want to know. So, yeah, do you, boo. All right, so next one. George, I'm going to start with you on this. Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy will not be at the NFL scouting combine in Indy. Him and his defensive coordinator will stay at home and continue to change the scheme. Do you care that the head coach and the defensive coordinator are not going to the combine?
Yeah, I care. I mean, why wouldn't you go to the combine? You can scheme all you want unless you got players to play it. I mean, I know they're going on with what they got, and the Cowboys are a weird enigma right now because I don't know what in the world is happening over there. It used to be my team, but I don't even know what I'm. But I'm a Roger Staubach and in days of Jimmy Johnson kind of thing. So this is a whole different animal right now, and their problems are not personnel issue. Their problems are heart issue and attitude issue. So I don't know why he doesn't go to the combine. I don't know his rationale behind that. So
okay. Mike King, head coach and the defensive coordinator are not going to the combine. Do you care?
If I was a Cowboys fan, I would care. As someone who roots for a team in the division, I love this. This is great because it's 2024, and you're telling me they can't be at the combine, and then when they have their free time after doing their combine things, they take out the laptop, the iPad, or all the other things that the team has provided them, and they do their job. Like this is not a job where it's, I'm gonna do some things, and so this is the job. Like your job, it's being a coach in the NFL is a hard job. It doesn't stop, and this is one of the big things in the offseason. And he's like, nah, I gotta come up with a scheme. Like that's just insane to me. Like the Giants were sending out videos last year of like Dable sitting next to the GM, and they're calling players and talking about the combine, and like they called Dexter Lawrence and when the defensive tackles were going, they were just like, none of these guys look like you. And that was fun for me as a fan to see like the social media, they're showing like the human element going on as my coach and GM were working and still connecting with players and probably coming up with a scheme and doing the combine. This is nuts. This is just, it's pathetic.
Well, do you care that the head coach and the defensive coordinator says, no, we don't need to go to the scouting combine?
I'm trying to understand how you change of the scheme without knowing the new players you're going to bring into the scheme. So I'm not really understanding what that is. They're hanging out drinking. They ain't really doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. They lied to their wives, talk about they got to do that, man. They're hanging out, drinking beer and watching old football tapes. They ain't doing nothing. Talk about, man, come on. And like, Mike, come on, Mike. Mike King knows. Man, you got an iPad right here. I'm sitting in the combine, and sometimes you might have a laptop and an iPad. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, are exclusive. They aren't different things. They are inclusive of both each other. So I don't know why you'd be doing the same. I'd be like, man, we run a great screen. Maybe we can get a good blitzer on the edge. Oh, maybe we can get a rookie over there. Oh, he's fast. I'm not understanding. So
this reminds me of when Dave Gettleman had the draft, and it was during COVID time, and they had a camera in there, and there was someone setting up the computer for him. He had no idea what was going on, and it's like, this is just a different generation. They need a younger coach who has a plan, who knows what an iPad is, and who can work on the road. Like this is like old dinosaur coach stuff.
Hey, I'm gonna tell. I'll tell you, I heard that Dan Snyder's having a boat party and they were all going to be there.
You stop it.
That's what I heard.
I didn't get one of those invites.
I know about that.
So I'm going to try to sell George. It's the 21st century. Do I really need to be in person when I do have members of my staff that I trust that can provide reports to me, blah, blah? Did I tell you, George?
Are they going to fax the reports to him?
No, they're going to fax.
Telegram? How's he getting those reports?
Man, folks, you got to be there, man. I'm sorry. Even when you don't care, you got to physically be in the location. Yeah. Go ahead to St. Elmo's, get the steak, and just be there.
Strictly the 1800. I don't go any further.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, in segment 3, we're going to do some more personnel issues. I kind of like listening to that. All right. We're going to talk about roster building and get the panel's thoughts on some roster moves. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA Save Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, Colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast in segment 3. This week in roster building. So, guys, I'm going to give you each a team and tell me your thoughts on this. I'm going to start with you, Mike. 1, Seattle restructured the contract of Geno Smith, converting his $9.6 million roster bonus into a signing bonus and creating a $4.8 million of salary cap space. What do you think about Geno and Seattle making some moves to kind of get some more players in?
So pushing it down the road for next year, but who knows how much more next year's salary will be, and that could eat up some of that. There's good bones on the team, so if they think that this extra couple million could get them an extra piece that could make a difference, fine by me.
All right. So now, George, you got Kansas City. Kansas City signed punter Matt Azaria, who was dismissed in December from a lawsuit of an alleged assault that took place in 2021. This kid coming out of college had a lot of buzz. I forgot his nickname, but he can really punt. You just picked him up. What do you think about that move?
I mean, it's gonna be fine. I mean, it's now it's like it's one of the smaller issues there. Because if he works out, we bring him to training camp. We'll see who does what. Their major issues right now are, they're more worried roster wise. They're more worried about the defense and with Chris Jones and the safety. So I don't think it's it's cheap for them to do it. So it's not costing them much. So they'll just go ahead and they might be able. If this kid is really what everybody said he was, he turned out to be an asset when it comes time for the season.
All right, Will, you got the Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers offense coordinator Greg Roman told reporters last week that he is confident the Chargers will establish a consistent running game to go with Justin Herbert. He's not a mobile quarterback, but what are you thinking about those moves that the Chargers are making?
He needs some help. I mean, he needs some help. He's not the guy that he thought he was. He's not the guy who can just dominate with whoever they throw into him. They try to put him in the Mahomes category, and he's not that guy either. And unfortunately, they've had a lot of, and they've had a lot of injuries. Mike Williams got hurt. Austin Eckler had a troubled time, gotten hurt all year. Back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They haven't just any consistent other position. I mean, there's Jordan Palmer who didn't do a little bit over there. Even not their quarterback, their tight end. It's just they need to do something else. And maybe it's balance. Maybe it's not him throwing 30 times attempts, but they got to figure out something because his window is closing. And
all right, go ahead.
So that's how it's going to happen.
Okay, last but certainly not least, and this is for the entire panel, the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown has heard enough about what's going on with the Eagles, and he went on local radio last week, and he has said, and I quote, "I have no problem. I want to be here. It's as simple as that. I love where I'm here. It's as simple as that." He was also mentioning the locker room and that players weren't executing. A lot of news on social media. If your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. King, what are you thinking about the Eagles offseason? Because that was quite a collapse they had.
So 2 years ago, they were just extremely, extremely talented. Last year, some wide receivers were a little bit injured, and all of a sudden, Quarterback doesn't look as good. The running game wasn't what it was. They got older. There's talent. There's a ton of talent. But my question would be, is Jalen Hurts, is he the driver or the passenger? Because 2 years ago, he looked great, but the team was, again, should have won a Super Bowl. They should have beat the Chiefs. The team was loaded everywhere. Last year, looked like the guy. So what I think he's the biggest story. If there are injuries again, or if the offensive line isn't perfect, can he do what he did 2 years ago and kind of put them on his back? And we'll see. And I'm also the coach, my least favorite person in the NFL. And if it all fails and falls apart, and he has to, that smug blank has to get fired, so be it. That'd be great.
There's a lovely level of pettiness with you.
Hate him.
George, you got your people on local radio talking about the team. How are you feeling about that, sir?
Look, there is so much more wrong in that locker room. I mean, if I was owning that team, I would just pay for counselors and therapists to come in and meet. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the way this thing is playing out, it doesn't matter who they go get as a new player or whatever. That locker room is a freaking fire show right now. So they better get it worked out, whatever the hell's going on, wherever the problem is, because A.J. Brown was heated. So whatever the problem is, because he didn't just start talking about, I want to be, he stopped with all that, I want to leave, but he immediately dug in on people not doing their jobs. And there's a whole lot of finger pointing going on up there. So whatever it is, they better get it figured out. They better have a nice long dinner or whatever, or it's gonna be a rough season up there, boy.
All right, so Cottonman, you're captain. Jalen Hurts has been questioned. Mike eloquently said he's been questioned. Your player, your teammate is out there in the media, and as George said, a little heated. How are you thinking about this with Philly?
I mean, I was with him for a little bit, but the one thing I didn't do is he didn't have any self-accountability. If he said at least, hey, we had guys on the team weren't playing as best they could, and he included himself, and he was like, yeah, I was, taking plays off a couple times. Sometimes I wasn't feeling right with the hood, with the shoulder, what's going on, and I didn't block as hard as I could have and things like that. That's what a leader does. It takes self-accountability about the thing. And but like George says, the way he did not say that says there's a lot more going on in his locker room than he's giving on. And it's a lot of, just not healthy, So, yeah, we'll see as it comes out because, the truth always comes out, man, all the time. So we'll know what's going on. But right now, A.J. Brown, do your job, do the company line, and nothing's going wrong. I'm happy. I like being here and da-da-da-da-da. Not, like Coach says, man, make it a non-story right now. Yeah. Until the chinks start to fall and the game's losing and it all comes out. So
I'm gonna tell you like this, and we'll catch me on this one. This sounds like every time we've seen a team where we've had like the star players get upset or get in a fight over a girl or something in the locker room. This is how this sounds. I don't know if Jalen and AJ were after the same girl or something was going on. Something happened. There was something personal happened because it's ugly in there and it's split the entire locker room.
Yeah, for me as we wrap up, Jalen Hurts is a different kind of leader. And you saw it did go well for a spell in Alabama, and then something happened. He wasn't in Oklahoma very long. And then he came to the Eagles. And again, he came in at the right place at the right time. But now that he's got his money, you're held responsible for this. It's going to be a very interesting offseason because it is not in his nature, based on what we've seen, for him to be that vocal Patrick Mahomes, whatever, Tom Brady type leader. And Philly is a unique town. It's a unique city. They boo Santa Claus. They cheer heels in wrestling. It's a natural thing. And he's a white meat, baby face, Bob Backlund kind of guy, and that might not go well in Philly. So with that, as I drop random wrestling references and George brings up Georgia Championship Wrestling later this week, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. We will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care. And yes, it was cheaper to go to the Final Four in Phoenix than the WrestleMania in Philadelphia. We'll see you next time.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.